Welcome, Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all of our listeners. This is Cadence, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have a Mississippi Moments with Marshall Bolden and a news wrap with Kaylin Fox Thomas to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have some very special guests for you, Sophia Williams. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here is a quick message from our sponsor. So hang tight because we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Are you in a hurry? Well, I am. But as a paralyzed veteran, I had to overcome incredible challenges just to regain my independence and return to work. Finding a parking space shouldn't be one of them. Illegally parking in spaces reserved for people with disabilities is not only wrong, it's against the law. So please, think twice before pulling into a reserved parking spot. Even if it's just for a minute, it's 60 seconds too long. This has been a public service announcement from United Spinal Association.
Welcome back. In campus news, 2 students from the University of Southern Mississippi's College of Arts and Sciences have been selected as the institution's first ever Beckman Scholars, and the first in the state, earning a place in one of the most prestigious undergraduate research programs in the STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Sophomore Ash Davis, a polymer science and engineering major from Ocean Springs, and junior Noah Williamson of Hattiesburg, a double major in biological sciences and geography, will participate in the 15-month mentored research experience supported by the Arnold and Mabel Beckman Foundation. The program prepares exceptional undergraduate students in chemistry, biochemistry, biological sciences, polymer science, or interdisciplinary fields for graduate studies and careers in scientific research. Southern Miss is the first university in Mississippi to receive a Beckman Scholars Program grant and one of only 14 selected nationwide. The grant is administered through the USM Honors College. Also in campus news, the University of Southern Mississippi and the Gulf Coast Business Council have entered into a strategic partnership to launch the Executive Leadership Academy, an education initiative designed to foster transformative leadership across the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The partnership was formalized through a Memorandum of Understanding, signed April 24th at the GCBC's monthly membership meeting. This collaborative effort marks a significant milestone in strengthening professional development and leadership capacity for the region's current and emerging business leaders. The Executive Leadership Academy will be housed at the Southern Miss Gulfport campus in Long Beach and will feature a comprehensive curriculum delivered over a 9-month period. Designed by the university's executive education program, the ELA will include at least 60 hours of face-to-face instruction led by highly qualified faculty and industry experts. In Hattiesburg news, one fraternity raised money Saturday to help a school that's dedicated to helping children with language disorders. At the University of Southern Mississippi's Spirit Park, the Epilepsin chapter of Alpha Tau Omega held its 40th annual crawfish boil. The boil is held every year to support a local organization, and for the second year in a row, the proceeds from the boil are going to the DuBard School for Language Disorders. It was a no-brainer for the brothers of the fraternity. Last year, ATO raised $17,000 for the DuBard School. This year, the fraternity raised over $23,000. The staff at the DuBard School said they were grateful for ATO's help and contribution. The brothers of ATO have been planning this event since December. They say it was amazing getting to see the final product and outcome. Seeing it all come together, all the smiles going across people's faces, a lot of money raised for a good cause, it's always a good feeling, said Caleb Bowler, the ATO vice president of the Epilepsin chapter. In Mississippi news, the Alpha Beta Theta chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority held a community baby shower to help soon-to-be mothers and mothers with toddlers. Event organizers said they created the event to recognize Black Maternal Health Month. The month was created to bring awareness to the disparities Black women experience while being pregnant and giving birth. Expectant mothers and mothers with toddlers got some baby essentials for their baby while learning about the best healthcare options for themselves. The ladies said Saturday addresses a serious need event in a simple way that's meant to offer easy-to-find resources for the audience it hopes to reach. Saturday was the day that the ladies of the sorority said they were excited to host. These are a few things that we can do to help our young ladies and help the community to get better health care, especially maternal health, said Paula McDonald, Uplift Our Community Committee Chairman. Saturday marked the second year the sorority hosted the event following the success of the inaugural 2024 baby shower. And that's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277. And the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on, because it's game time. Tomorrow, Tuesday, April 29th, the baseball team will be playing against New Orleans. On Thursday, May 1st, the softball team will be playing against Louisiana. On Friday, May 2nd, the baseball team will be playing against Arkansas State. Next Monday, May 5th, the women's golf team will be playing at the NCAA Norman Regional. Next Tuesday, May 6th, the softball team will be at the Sun Belt Conference. Next Thursday, May 8th, track and field will be at the Sun Belt Championship. And next Friday, May 9th, the baseball team will be playing against Louisiana. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagle sports activities. As for our weather today, look for a low of 66 with a low chance of rain and a high of 87. The feels like for today is 67 to 89. Tomorrow, look for a low of 66 and a high of 86, also with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like will be 67 to 86. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage with Marshall Baldwin. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. In 1948, Marshall Baldwin became the apprentice of a commercial illustrator in Connecticut. He explains why he decided to come home to Clarksdale and become a portrait painter.
I apprenticed for a particular artist who moved to Connecticut. I stayed there and then I finally got off of my own studio there and working through a representative in New York. And I did magazine illustration, but I realized that I wasn't cut out to be an illustrator. And I became more interested in painting. And I guess the thing that really influenced me was a show of Van Gogh that came there one time. And I looked at his freedom and the way he painted, and it was entirely opposite of what I was doing. And I said, man, I just ought to cut loose and do some of it. I began thinking, I was like, dadgummit, if I could go home and maybe I can be a farmer and give me time to paint on the weekends. So I bolted and said, I'm going home to be a farmer. And everybody laughed at me up there and said, well, you'll be back in a month. I said, you're an artist and you can't stand it. So you got to paint. And I guess they were right in a way. But I came home and I farmed and painted on the weekends. Spent a lot of time painting and did what I said I was going to do.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
And that was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Sophia Williams after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Regresando a la escuela, sí tenía miedo, porque yo tenía pensamientos que no sabía si iba a poder hacerlo.
A los 47 años, Marco obtuvo su high school diploma.
Nunca es muy tarde para obtenerlo.
Nadie obtiene un diploma solo. Si estás pensando en obtener tu high school diploma, puedes recibir ayuda. Encuentra clases gratis para adultos cerca de ti en completatudiploma.org. Repito, completatudiploma.org. Presentado por la Dollar General Literacy Foundation y el Ad Council.
Please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Sophia. How are you?
Good. I'm ready to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, so can you introduce yourself and what you're here to talk about today?
I am Sophia Williams. I am a veteran of the Afghanistan War. I worked as a prison guard for, in Guantanamo Bay, Afghanistan, Par 1, and the United States Disciplinary Barracks, which is where war criminals go. And I'm with Veterans for Peace.
Yeah, so what is Veterans for Peace?
Veterans for Peace is a nonprofit organization that was created in 1985 in response to America's foreign policy in South America and the arms race with the Soviet Union. It's developed from there. So every war from Afghanistan, especially Iraq, we've been advocating for peace. Not me, because the time frame there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was a baby. All right, I was 13 years old during Iraq. And basically educate people on the cost of war. Yep.
So what's your position with Veterans for Peace?
Well, like everybody else, we're a small organization, so we kind of it depends on how much. There's no real positions yet, since we're so small, and we kind of just meet together every month and discuss what's going on with the world, and we're like, okay, what do we want to do about it? So one of our members, Ray, he is in the Gulf Coast, and every Friday at 4 p.m. he has a vigil for Palestine.
Mm-hmm. Do y'all do protest at all?
Yes, we did a protest in March 21st, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That was after Israel broke the ceasefire with Gaza, where they killed 400 Palestinians in one day to get one person, one Hamas commander. So far, if we're talking about Palestine, it's been 57 days since aid has come into the Gaza Strip. Right now, people are dying from illness. This Palm Sunday, the last remaining hospital, Ali Hospital, Baptist Hospital, was bombed on Palm Sunday. It also hit a church. The rest of the world condemned it because now there's no medical infrastructure in that area.
That's so awful. Sometimes when I look at what's happening in the world, I'm like, I just can't believe this.
Well, we America, its government loves war because war makes a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it ensures that all these generals get to have a job once they retire, and they sell more weapons.
Yeah.
If you look at the start of the Ukraine war And, you know, after October 7th, the stocks for these military companies just skyrocketed. There was a recording of them during their like quarterly updates or whatever, where they inform their stakeholders like, here's how much money we expect, and they were just excited about it. You know, that's a lot of money. It's like, great, okay, they're using David Sling, these systems that shoot down you know, rockets, bathtub rockets, and they're like, well, it's great because we could just sell them more. With Ukraine, we can just take our old stuff, right, give it to the Ukrainians, and we can just make more weapons, and then wait for the next incident to come up and start selling more.
Yeah. So with Veterans for Peace, do y'all do like provide any resources, education around Mississippi? Kind of like with the protest, but like not with the protest?
Yeah, so we started in November 2023 is when we officially established our chapter in Mississippi. So we've haven't gotten to that level yet of like education, but Ray, who's a champ, he's actually the first person that I met for Veterans for Peace, and I was like, oh, I'm wearing the hat, but I haven't signed up yet. And he was like, oh, that's fine. He's like, I want to start a chapter, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. But he's been, you know, participating longer than I have in speaking out and you know, providing education. However, they sent me instead of Ray because I live around here. So
Was he the one that got you kind of involved in it, or was it something that you always had a want to go into?
No, you know, I was actually a very big, like, you know, love the military, you know, like, thank us for our service, you know, we're defending freedom and democracy. And then you start to, I've always been a curious person, then you start to, like, learn a little bit about the history of the world and how we got to the place where we're in now. And it's awful. America has a very violent foreign policy. I mean, you just Google any country and you know, put in U.S. history with this country, like Iran, right? We had, or Vietnam, right? It's Iraq. Like, we used to, you know, my dad is an Iraq veteran. My brothers are, both of my brothers, I think, are Iraq veterans. Sorry, they had multiple deployments, okay? They sent them over. They really trying to get my family, all right? The military-industrial complex wants my brothers.
It's okay. They one of my family too.
Yeah, right. They're very eager to send us, you know, send our loved ones out there, right? But hey, at least, you know, Jeffrey or whatever gets to buy a yacht, a Thursday yacht. That's great. Yeah. But back to your question. I'm sorry. I have ADHD, so I'm just. No, but the person who got me like involved, I was watching like Twitch, and there's this Struggle 4 is the Twitch channel name, and it is a veteran. He's Marine. He was Marine infantry, and then later on he was a congressional aide. Right? He was like, I'm going to change. You know, he's like, he's been there. You know, in the military, knows how dangerous it is. Knows how much BS it is. Right? He tells a story about how he goes to Japan and he's running with his soldiers in Japan, and there's this big sign that says "Yankee Go Home" while he was in Okinawa. And the reason why the Japanese want us to go home is because we increase crime when we were there. We, you know, our helicopters fall out of the sky onto baseball fields. Recently in Korea, we accidentally bombed an apartment complex. shoot, even here, this is a few years ago, but a artillery person, they were doing training and they hit a New Jersey parking lot. So luckily it was just a parking lot, and it's New Jersey, so it was already destroyed. But like, and then our soldiers, like airmen, whatever, service members die all the time in training. Like, we're more likely to die in training than we are like in combat. And like, why do we do all this, right? And it's like, oh, well, there's like bad people. There's bad people out there who are trying to get us. And it's like, no. We have 800 military bases all across the world, okay? And we interfere with people's elections. Iran, we were like, nah, we're gonna send our guy, our puppet, all right? Same thing with Afghanistan, same thing with South Vietnam. If you don't believe me, you just Google it, all right? Who was the leader? Who who put this guy in charge? Who put, Saddam Hussein in charge? It was us.
Yeah.
So we create, our foreign policy has a habit, quote unquote, of supporting the enemies of the next generation, right? Like, literally, we created Al Qaeda. Okay, so so I'd like it to stop, right? I hate that regular everyday people, like, most people don't want to go to war. Okay, they're just trying to like go to college, get their college paid for. Okay, but they're just going to do what they need to do. And we don't have the best, like, world history, right? So it's just kind of like, you buy the idea of, we're fighting for freedom, because you hear it over and over and over and over and over again, and you buy into it. And then you get there, right? And you're like, what am I doing here in Afghanistan? Like, we're not winning this thing. Like, there's no plan. The army that we trained sucks, and you a few years later you find out that well, since George Bush doesn't negotiate with terrorists, the Taliban didn't give Osama bin Laden up. They were like, hey, if you provide evidence that Osama bin Laden did 9/11, we'll hand him to you. And he was like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And you could be like, oh, that sounds silly. Okay, well, we literally got lied into Iraq. There was no nuclear weapons. And we killed 1 million Iraqis. We just destroyed that country, okay? And that's not how you make the world a safer place, right? That's not how you make friends. That's how you get ISIS, so.
Yeah. It's just a lot of stuff that we kind of, as not like we, like, I'm not a part of the military, but like we as a nation kind of push other countries, I feel like, into turmoil, like with our army.
Well, it's not just the army, right? Like, the military is a tool, right? And there's this relationship between corporations and the government and the military-industrial complex, so like the generals and all this stuff. And they kind of collude together. You can read more about it in Noam Chomsky's and Edward Herman, I believe, Manufacturing Consent. It's an insane book. Parts of it are very hard to read because of the things we did in South America. Right, so it's a matter, they send us out there because America is an empire. America wants resources, not like us. We just want to, like, get on with our day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these corporations, they want access to these resources. They want control of it. They want cheap labor. Literally, the CEOs have to advocate for that, because it's like, if I'm not doing they have fiduciary responsibilities. So if they're not doing something if they're like, no, we shouldn't do this because it's immoral, well, they could get in trouble, because that's not looking out for that bottom line, right?
Yeah.
That's insane, right? So, I mean, that's why we push for Iran so much, right? Like, that's why we warmonger with Iran, because Iran is like, no, you cannot just control. Listen, we don't care about their, you know, the American government doesn't care about their freedom, right? They want access to that sweet oil.
Yeah.
All right, they want easy access to it. You can look up the the Chiquita Banana Company. Like, we literally funded. That's where the word Banana Republic comes from. All right, I mean, there's so much, and it's almost like where do I stop? Like, so.
And so this could be my last question for you, and it's kind of going to veer away a little bit.
That's
but,
fine.
If the community wants to get involved with what Veterans for Peace, what are some ways that they can help out?
Well, one, if you love our troops, okay, if you love soldiers, don't let your congressperson or senator send them overseas to fight a war that's only just going to destroy their lives and give them PTSD, all right? First of all, be anti-war, okay? Our troops want to stay home and drink beer and hang out with their friends, okay? Like, don't want to get blown up. And then the other thing is if you're interested in joining Veterans for Peace, if you're a veteran or if you're a civilian, you can join. You go to veteransforpeace.org, and there is a hyperlink, and it says join now. You press that little button. And you can also email this specific chapter, if you want to send hate mail. It's vfp.mississippi@gmail.com. I'm looking forward to hearing some interesting responses, because it's not the most popular idea, but I don't care. I'm going to do what's right. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I was doing what was right when I joined the Army to, go to Afghanistan and fight for women's rights, and that wasn't what was happening. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming today and providing insight into what you do.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, coming up, we've got a news wrap with Kaylin Fox Thomas.
As DEI bans get passed in Mississippi, unions like the United Campus Workers advocate for change. Gavin Wallace, a current union and staff member here at USM, explains how being in it allows him to speak up for larger issues.
So I joined United Campus Workers as a graduate student. This has really been a great outlet for me to work towards bettering something. Working with UCW on this march and this campaign and like all the other campaigns we're working on right now has really been fulfilling for me in the way that it helps me feel active and not feel frozen, and I actually feel like I'm doing something and making a change and having an impact on the world around me.
Union worker and protest organizer Patricia McCourt explains what the union does and how people can become members.
United Campus Workers is a wall-to-wall labor union. By wall-to-wall, we mean that we represent every job class at the university. So in order to join, you can just go to ucwms.org/join. And we have lots of information on our website.
With union chapters nationwide, United Campus Workers advocates for living wages for all workers, including graduate students and non-tenure track professors. Kaylin Fox Thomas, SMTV.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We are thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird story. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, and our booker, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our guests today. That's all for Southern Miss Radio. Thank you for listening, and remember, fly, Eagle, fly. I'm your host, Cadence Renfro, signing off.